And that doll on the string is like this. It's like, you get out of here, you nosy little pervert, or I'm gonna slap you silly. Welcome to Speakeasy Radio. It's Friday night. You're here on speakeasy-tv.com watching Speakeasy Radio. I'm joined by the one and only, he plays a producer on TV, but not in real life, Chris. And our real producer, Lizzie.
9 out of 10.
What?
9 out of 10 producers would agree with me.
9 out of 10 producers recommend Chris as a fake producer.
I'm available for hire.
Chris is who you're looking for. Now, all you fans wondering, since God Tier is on Thursdays now and all these people see each other the night before, is Speakeasy Radio going to go to shit? The answer is yes. Unfortunately, we've run out of things to talk about. If anything, tonight demonstrates that we have done the opposite of run out of things to talk about. It's that we have so many things to talk about that we must combine them all into one great stream. So tonight, our theme is potpourri. It is random. It is chaos.
Who decided that potpourri was just the all-encompassing word for... Was it Jeopardy? Was it Jeopardy?
It might have been. I have a story for you about potpourri. One time, my grandpa ate several handfuls of potpourri, thinking it was chips. Was just like mowing down on some potpourri.
Was it like potpourri that it had been just hanging around?
All potpourri is kind of just hanging around.
Yeah, it's true.
Potpourri tier ranker for me. Rose petals right at the top. Shitty little bit of wood right down at the bottom. Weird, crusty, like thick seed pod that has things rattling around in it.
Yeah.
Also at the bottom.
Where does one buy potpourri?
I bet you could buy like 100 pounds of potpourri on Amazon.
Probably.
Let's see.
Could you also buy 100 sachets to put it in for your
Oh,
Ooh.
that's the funny thing is that potpourri is very sachet specific.
Oh my god, and then you put the sachets in the drawer with your pink panties.
With your lacy cotton pants.
Petties.
Oh, look, they have a bag of potpourri here on Amazon for $45. Potpourri feels like something to me that you should be able to get for free. It just also, everything that comes up when I look for potpourri on Amazon is poopery. Lizzie.
Yeah.
Give me a fave.
What?
The white USB extender that's out here, can you plug it into the computer? Ah!
Oh my god.
I don't know why that just tickled me, but there's something about the sound of something thumping against the glass that is very like, ah!
So, since I was traumatized by that...
Heavily,
I was thinking about some childhood trauma.
Oh.
And I remember that I went to the dentist one time. My mom took me to a pediatric dentist, and he was really mean. I did not like him.
Okay.
Like, I was like, oh, he made me, like, totally scared of the dentist.
Okay.
I never went there ever again. I was just like, he was really not nice.
Okay, a lot
It was
makes sense
upsetting,
now.
Yeah. And so then I was reading the news, and there was this news story about this dentist in Nova Scotia who had like practiced dentistry for like 50 years, and he had all of these like charges being pressed against him all of a sudden for years of like abuse, of like pinning people down, of like pulling out extra teeth, all this. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, is that the dentist that I went to? Like, did he kind of just traumatize like children everywhere?
And?
No.
Oh.
Different one.
Fax
Worked
dentist.
in the same dentist office, though, as the one that I went to.
They were colleagues.
Yeah, because I was like, did this guy work at the professional building on Spring Garden Road in the 80s? Yes, he did. And I was like, oh my god, Mom was like, did you take me to this man? She was like, no, it was somebody else. I was like, oh, it's no fun. I was like so excited that I was going to be able to like trauma bond with some people.
Well, I mean...
Mildly intense trauma.
Whereas the other guy is the
Too
dentist
good.
from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Like straddling you.
Straddling kids, holding hand over their mouth.
And pinching their nose.
Yeah.
I would love if my teeth didn't have nerve endings, but could still be teeth.
Oh my god, if I didn't have to feel them.
When your teeth feel anything, awful. Why are teeth sensate? Why do my teeth need to have feelings?
Why? Why do I need to like feel when something is...
What is the evolutionary
damage?
need of me being able to feel with my teeth?
Yeah, I don't want to. Like, I don't even like flossing because I
Yeah.
can visualize it just like going really deep and just like like skimming the roof.
Just keeps going all the way to your chin.
Yeah, and like I don't like them talking like the dentin and oh, it's through the I'm like, I don't need to know the anatomy of the teeth. I don't want to know that it's a term. In my head, it is a solid thing that's all the way through. It is just made of like hard like fingernail material.
I hate that a tooth isn't that.
Imagine if it was just like keratin and you had to like trim your teeth.
I don't want tusks at all. Fangs would be cool, but no tusks.
I don't know, like you could really like gouge someone with a tusk.
The problem is like tusks are unwieldy, I feel. I feel like you'd knock over a lot of shit with a tusk.
It does seem like
How are you gonna go down on somebody with a tusk?
What part of my face does the tusk grow out of?
I feel like it would be like here. Cause like on like a boar, they come out from like beside the snout above the mouth. But then there are other animals who have tusks on their lower jaw. How do a tusk and a horn differ? How high does a tusk have to go to become a horn? You know a narwhal?
Yeah.
The
Nardwar?
unicorn whale?
Nardwar, the human serviette.
You know Nardwar, the human serviette? I've heard people refer to a narwhal's horn as a tusk before, as its tusk.
But that comes out of its head.
A tusk comes out of your head.
Yeah, but it feels more
You mean like the top of your head?
Yeah.
Feels more like a horn.
Like-
a horn feels cranial. Okay, Flanders says it is a tusk. I just read this about 2 days ago.
It is
Narwhal,
a
I mean.
tusk.
Okay. Why is it a tusk? The narwhal tusk, most commonly found on males, is actually an enlarged tooth with
Not with
sensory
sensory
Oh, so is a
capability.
tusk a big tooth? A tusk is a tooth. Okay.
But a very sensitive one.
Oh,
Ew.
is actually an enlarged tooth with sensory capability and up to 10 million nerve endings inside. Some narwhals have up to 2 tusks, while others have 1. The spiral tusk juts from the head and can grow as long as 10 feet. Oh. Wow.
Imagine just having a tooth growing out of your fucking head.
And not just a tooth, but a tooth that's half the size of your entire body.
Like, does that giant tooth have like gums?
Does it have thoughts? Do giant teeth dream of
sentient?
electric sheep? Is it sentient? I hate this. I feel like I regret why you brought up teeth.
Wow,
Listen,
Chris brings
I'm-
up trauma one time.
I'm trying to be relatable.
This is what it's like to bring up trauma, Chris. You're welcome. I'm giving you a relatable experience. You bring up trauma and people go, oh, I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, this is me trying to relate to everybody on like a real level, and I just get thrown in my face.
Good. It'll harden you.
This is Chris's drag race moment. Season 21 of Canada's Drag Race.
This is me doing my makeup.
You're doing your
in the-
makeup,
like
and
in the
everyone's like,
mirror.
someone's like, would anyone else have any traumas they'd like to discuss? And Chris is like, well, it's hard to talk about. And he's doing his makeup with his hands. It's hard to talk about. But my mother took me to a
My mother
pediatric
had a very strained
dentist,
relationship with.
and he abused me.
His colleague was abusive to people. And,
His colleague almost killed people. I don't really want to talk about orthodontics, do you?
2 seconds later.
They
If
make
your
them
teeth,
move.
if your teeth need to move, or if your jaw needs to change shape, your orthodontist is doing that. If your teeth need to be clean,
Can they like give me a jaw? Period.
an orthodontist.
Yeah. Can I like go to the orthodontist and be like, I need to get rid of that?
There are much better doctors you could go to for that. You could go to a Terry Dubrow.
Give me an implant. Yay! I feel like a periodontist. I don't really know what it does, but it gives me gum vibes.
It
is the
it's
gums.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
gums. I don't ever want to have to visit the periodontist where I have something
Imagine-
so severely wrong with my gums.
Imagine devoting your life only to gums. That's like
That's-
being like, what are you a pro at? Cuticles.
Yeah.
There's a
gums.
path for everybody. I feel like you end up being a periodontist because you like go to med school and then you're like, I'm going to go into dentistry, and then you're like, I'm going to go to the orthodontics. And then you meet some great doctor who's like a periodontist, and he has a nice home and a nice car, and sometimes he has
Right,
you
I could
over
do
for
that.
dinner on the weekends with the wife and kids. And he's like, you know, I really love for you to join me in my periodontic practice. And then suddenly you have a job for the next 40 years. It's all about grooming, you see, Chris.
Yeah, it's grooming.
Yeah, periodontists aren't born, they're groomed.
I know.
I would have
Just-
rather they knock out the whole thing,
Take them
build
all
from the
out.
ground up.
Yeah.
Why isn't that more of an option? It probably costs the same as braces
it
for
has
so
to.
long. I want some government teeth.
Yeah,
I want the government
give
to
them
give me all the
government
teeth I want. Socialism. Bernie Sanders would get me new teeth.
I still have a baby tooth.
No, you don't.
I do.
Ew.
It's like fused to the bone or something.
She is. She's a whore.
So-
she's a slut. She's a slut. She's a mole. She's a
That's the
fucking
baby
embarrassment.
tooth.
Yeah.
The baby tooth is the mole.
It's like right here.
So is there an adult tooth under it?
No. That's a baby tooth. And so like
Aw.
my top 2 teeth over here have like kind of gone down to meet it.
Oh, like there's a little dip.
So there's a dip. So basically if it ever made its way out, I would have to have like get that fixed.
I'm obsessed.
There's no adult tooth under it. Isn't that weird?
Chris's teeth said, I am baby.
Yeah. my teeth said ooh.
Ooh, woo, I'm baby. Your baby tooth said,
Let's stay playful together.
let's stay playful together for your whole
My
life.
whole life.
Let's stay playful together forever. Does the baby tooth ever make you have baby thoughts and baby ideas? Baby impulses?
Yeah, obviously that's when I put my diaper on.
Does that tooth crave milk?
A mother's milk from Big Mommy Milkers. Ooh.
Chris will take a Percocet, but if that tooth hurts, just a baby ass.
Yeah.
We should have a baby shower for your tooth. That's so funny. I had no idea you and Kai wanted kids, and you've had one this whole time.
The whole time. I've always been a daddy.
I've written a letter to Daddy. I watched Whatever Happened to Baby Jane like not that long ago, again recently. It is like 2 hours of bliss. It's one of the best movies ever made.
So good.
It is 2 actresses that hate each other at their prime, using every opportunity.
Actually, past their prime a little bit.
Yeah, actually, the movie is actually completely defined on the fact that both of these women are far past their prime.
Borderline has been.
As far as men are concerned.
Yeah.
It's so scary and weird and surreal, but it's just like so fun and so bizarre, and like
it's so bizarre.
Betty Davis sings a whole song in her voice.
Yeah.
I'm drinking a Founder's Original Gin Bramble cocktail. Can is adorable. I would say it's
steampunk.
70% steampunk.
Yeah.
The lavender exempts it from being steampunk a little bit, and the presence of fruits.
Yeah.
If this were all leaves, much more steampunk. Leaves, vines, twigs,
berries.
Spices.
Yeah.
Spices are steampunk. Potpourri is so steampunk, Flanders. Potpourri is the steampunk, like, Airwick.
The Glade plug-in.
Potpourri for the car. A little bowl of potpourri on your dashboard.
In your Model T.
Mm-hmm. In your hot air balloon. In your airship. In your Zeppelin.
My Zeppelin.
In my dirigible.
On the top of my penny farthing.
On my bike with wings that flap like this.
That's where you keep your potpourri.
That's where I keep my mobile potpourri bowl.
It's like comes with like a little built-in like bowl attached to it.
All of them did.
Yeah.
Like how cars have ashtrays.
Yeah, they all have potpourri
Do you know that the ashtray in old cars, that's actually where you're supposed to keep potpourri?
That is extremely steampunk. I've had the best soup of my life in some of this potpourri boats.
I've had some of the best soup of my life on a dirigible. On a Zeppelin voyage. Steampunk soup would be terrible. Because stew is good, but stew is medieval. Steampunk soup is like a consomme broth.
That is the first thing I went to. It was like fucking consomme.
Dark brown consomme with strips of wilted cabbage. That's steampunk. Of the soups available on the market, tomato soup is a steampunk soup. That's about it. Tomato is the only steampunk soup.
A few moments later.
Chicken noodle is a little bit of a steampunk soup.
No, it feels a little modern, putting those two things together.
Steampunks wouldn't kill chickens either. They don't have the guts.
She doesn't have the range. Cream of is very steampunk. Cilantro, not so much.
Cream of doesn't sound steampunk to me. I feel like steampunks wouldn't have access to like dairy for some reason.
Yeah, but I feel like they would just be drinking like
Mead.
whole fat, unpasteurized like
Buttermilk.
buttermilk.
Oh,
Straight from the teeth.
She's got a gorgeous body, buttermilk.
Yeah.
Cream of cilantro is not steampunk, I would say. Anything like leafy and green and vegetal doesn't feel as steampunk as something like brown, dried, aged,
salted,
withered, preserved. Like cilantro feels too fresh.
But I feel like cilantro is something that like a steampunk expedition brings back and makes like one time, and then it becomes a thing.
Okay.
That's true.
Let's make that canon. Do you know that cilantro was actually discovered by steampunks?
Yeah.
It was.
On that dirigible trip. Yeah, well, also, we all know that half of us in the world have the steampunk gene, as well as the cilantro gene. It's brought down. Half of the world feels steampunk, half of the world doesn't.
Yeah.
And that is also the half that can taste cilantro. So if you do like cilantro, you are a little bit
steampunk,
steampunk. You have
yeah.
steampunk in your lineage.
It's wildly valid.
Yeah. That was a good cloud. Sick rep, brah. Tina Clouds. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what they're called. Cloud chasers.
Cloud chasers. Not cloud busters, that's Kate Bush.
And not bug chasers. That's different.
Not bug chasers, that's something for another channel.
A very, very offensive parody song to the tune of Kate Bush called Bug Chasers.
Instead of cloud busters.
Cloud Busters, Bug Chasers.
chasing.
Chalices, not steampunk. Tankards, steampunk. I want to go to Holland. I want to go to Mary Jane Holland. We should do a speakeasy Amsterdam trout.
Yeah, I'm in.
I want to go. I want to talk about the husband. I'm
I
down.
want to go to that restaurant.
We have to. We have to. We have to get the table.
Yeah.
We have to make sure there's like 8 of us.
Yeah.
I want to sit where Eileen sat. I want to be the Eileen. You and Lizzie have to be Kim and Lisa. Wherever you're both sitting at the table, you have to be across from each other.
Chris is much more the Kim in that situation.
Panicking.
Yeah.
I would say she's probably mostly sober right now. To me, they're this close to Kim dying. Wow. And Kyle's her enabler. I mean, I will say that.
I will
I
say
do
that.
not ever remember saying that.
I do not ever remember saying that. That's so funny. We'll bring a film crew with us.
Yeah.
And we'll have someone film as we all word for word, shot for shot reenact the scene. How many goddamn fags do you think that restaurant has coming to it on a regular basis being like,
again.
hi, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but we're 8 people and we really love that back table by the window. And they're like, because of the Real Housewives of... I don't know what people from Amsterdam sounds like. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, right this way.